Welcome back. Hi, how are we? Alright, so I've got this new camera system and I do keep on knocking it, which is not helpful. I need to hang it from the ceiling or something. Alright, so this is my beautiful Japanese door, and I'm taking mindfulness through to this one. So I am actually being quite mindful. I've done a few things in between now, and yeah, this is the second part of this. I've been working. I've done a foiled script video, which a while back, and I've used a bit on there. That wasn't on the last video. I've glued those down. That was definitely on the last video. I've marked out this area here where I've decided that that's kind of going to be where the hinges are of this door. This area here that I've looked at, which is like the entrance going through, it needs to be darker. So I have got out my nature prints from my folder, you know, this one that we made online a while ago, where I store all my jelly prints. And I've just been going through kind of and looking at how that's going to look in as an actual picture, you know, whether or not that's going to draw the eye through, which at this point it probably isn't. And I think it has to be quite dark. Light is definitely not the way for this collage. I think it needs to be dark. Now you could either paint it dark, which would be dead easy, because you know you could paint it the rocks on. You don't have to use jelly prints. I have so many jelly prints that I have printed on so many different pieces of paper. This is just a piece that when I was making rock wall for a project. So I have so many different types of sort of rocks on tissue paper, on just collage paper, even on shiny magazine paper. Yeah, isn't that just a stunning shot? You know, which is gorgeous, and I love them. I just, yeah, love them. But anyway, that's enough of that. I'm going to choose one of these. Probably one of these little stone looking ones. I feel like that might be, and I'm going to collage in there with one of these, and I think it's going to be actual darker paper, because I just want it to be dark. So I'll do that. I don't need to do that on camera, obviously. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out, and I will probably do that on camera. In fact, I could do that now. I have this cutting compass, which I bought from my AliExpress many moons ago, which allows you to set, I will put the link on underneath the video. There's a, you know, where I've got all my YouTube channels and shops and things. I will put the link in there where you put the comments underneath. So this is a really cool little tool. So you can choose how far along you want to actually cut. This is its maximum though, so this is kind of funny. I have put a protective thing underneath there. So what I'm going to do, this is as far as it goes. So it's a little bit inside, which is fine. I feel like that's fine, because that could just be the border of the actual door. So that's fine. And we're just going to go all the way around the top to that bit there, and then that bit here, stopping before the hinges. And then I'm going to get a blade and also cut down the center That's right in the middle of those tapes that I did, if you remember rightly. And bear with me while I... Sorry. Get a blade, that would be helpful, wouldn't it? So it's dead in the middle there. So it should just be... And let's hope I've pressed hard enough, because that's what normally goes wrong with me. I don't press hard enough. But I have a guideline, so it's all good. Alright, so they're there. Now I am probably going to make some sort of out of the black that I haven't made yet, out of the black clay, you know, the light clay that we made these out of. So I'm thinking that I'm going to do that, just to make it blend, and I'll dry them off. I'll make them today and dry them off probably. So this is all done. This is these doors are going to open like so. With the hinges on the side. Now, you need to line up your pages again, because as you know, you line those up. And then just draw an outline of that on the back page for the moment. Now, before you glue it down, you've got an idea where that second or third piece is going if you're putting one of those in there. So you might put that behind, or you could have something else that goes on the door. You could put this on the door, you know, cut it in half and actually attach it to the doors so that the door is like that. I'm not sure just yet how I'm going to do that. I have to have a little think about it. I feel like that maybe I haven't done the process that I want to do when I'm, you know, as you're going along, if anything obviously comes up for this door going into April, is like, what are the things that you notice about your door? I think that that's something. I've started jotting down on the sides the things that I've noticed about my door. And it can be just the color or the feeling or the sense of it or a memory or anything like that. It's your journey through this door. So I'd like you to just jot down things on the side, because we are going to, because obviously you're not going to use this particular side of the paper for anything, but I am going to, once we've finished the book, maybe once we finish the book, more or earlier, I do change things about. We are going to, I feel, cover this with something. So you're not going to see all the workings on that page if you don't want to. You may really like, you might have beautiful writing and absolutely adore what you've put on, all the writings that go with your work, and not bringing them down just to one word. It's, you know, you would like to keep all of it. So please feel free to do that. That's completely your decision. But I probably, because I've got terrible writing, I will probably actually do some collage or something later, you know, in a representation of how I'm feeling or about this door maybe. I haven't quite worked that out yet. But so don't worry about this side of the backs of the doors. That's all I'm kind of saying. we will you know, fix them up and make them look, the whole book, absolutely beautiful. I also have an idea of binding the book in the end, so that once we've finished the 12 months, I might show you how to bind the book, and so that you can either, in a couple of ways. I have one way of I want to bind it so that you can actually see the pages, and the other one is where you can't see the pages, but you know, it's an actual book, and you know, it's your personal journal. So it depends on which way you want to go. All right, so I digress. I'm focusing on this. I am going to use my papers because I have them. You could do anything. You could use anything. You know, you could find a picture of a tree in a magazine, and, you know, rocks in a magazine, and put it down there. It doesn't have to be jelly printed. It doesn't have to be my prints. It doesn't have to be anything. It just needs to come from you, within you. All right, I will be back. All right, now, so just going to, now I decided that this was the piece, which is quite a lot darker, so it pulls the eye down, and hopefully I can get it to look like I want it. So I'm just going to glue that on. And I have just ripped it out. You know, you must have, if you've watched my YouTubes, you will have seen how I kind of do that. In my mixed media, I showed online how I do my mixed media, so I'm not going to go through that again. If you want to see my process, there's probably about 7 or 8 videos on how I managed to do that. But anyway, so gluing that all down, making sure the edges are right, and the door is here, and I haven't really set that up yet. Now this is a bit of black ink that I'm just going around. It's watered down black ink though. I've got a couple of bits that are a little bit white for my liking around the edges, so I'm just going to get rid of them. I will leave those for later to cut off, I think. So, and I am going to get also some sort of blue to put up there. So it's a very much, this one is a very collaged piece. And I'm going to now glue the back on, but I have to decide on what I'm going to put in the middle first. So, all right. So I've decided that this particular print is going on the inside of this door, and I'm going to fold that in half how I want it. So this is going to go in there. Now that will be a bit hanging, there will be a little bit big, but that's okay. So I feel like I just need to decide where that's actually going and then trim it to the size. So it looks like it's that outer edge that actually has to go on that one. So I'm going to trim that off. Now I've measured it. And I will just check that the other one is the same. Yep. So it's just this round, little bit around the print, which of course I will keep and put into one of my little flip books for some use somewhere along the line because they're kind of cool. Now I'm going to do that. Now before I, so they're going to be glued onto there. Now before I go any further, I just want to show you what I've decided to do. So I want this one to be, I want to go into the sky, like, you know, the door to open actually into the sky, like, you know, into the clouds. So I have this lovely piece that I made. It's very grungy and I adore it. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut the top of this also off. So the door is the only thing that is actually going to be there at this present moment, is this door. I'm going to cut this piece off. Goodness, I really need a new blade on this, I think. And take the whole thing out and away. Like so. And then I'm going to glue this piece of, this printed piece of paper on all, so it goes all the way through, so that when you open, the sky is actually there, but when you open these doors, the actual, that sky pattern is still there. So you've got that sense of going into the open. Okay, so I'll stop it now and just glue those all down, and then I'll come back. So I've glued down everywhere. I've just pushed the panels on to the door area. Then I'm going to line up the book pages on that far corner, and then press down firmly so everything's in place. Now I will leave this door for probably an hour or so, and then I will come back and we can finish it. Okay, see you soon. Okay, we're back, and that's all hopefully as dry as possible. Now I've got a couple of things that I want to show you. I haven't done the ink work yet on it because always I do that last, as you know. I've got a couple of tiny little split pins. They're bronze topped. I was trying to find the one with, I've got one that's got actually a loop on the top so you can hang things from it, because I really want to hang some red. I feel like it needs a bit of red in it. It's very Japanese. Red is, you know, very Japanese. So I am going to put these in, and I'm actually going to get some red cotton and actually make some sort of tassel inside to hang on that, I think. Now you could just try and push them through, but what I like to do is just, whoops, wrong thing, is get a little, now this is just a sand block, like a foam sand block that's been covered in material, so that when I push this through, it just goes into the sand block and doesn't damage anything. So that just goes in there like that. And the split pin, now I probably should have done the split pin before I put the paper on. That would be my thinking. Now I've done that because I have done that in the past on work, but it was an afterthought. So that's that. Put those two split pins, and you can get all sorts of split pins. I mean, I just like the antique-y kind of ones, but I know you can get all sorts of different colors and things in split pins. Again, LD, I'll put the link for the split pins if anyone's interested on there too. You know about the foam that comes from Kmart, and obviously you can buy my prints online if you want to make similar to mine, and the washi tape is a AliExpress too. So now we are going to, as I said, I wanted to do the hinges out of the light clay. Now I've actually made a couple, and I just want to, so they're going to go on there, and they're going to be sewn by this red thread that I found, which is quite thick and gorgeous. So I feel that at this point I'm going to show you how to make those, because they need to dry up a bit. They're not quite dry, but I want to show you how to make these little hinges. You can make them in any design you want to. There is a YouTube on that. Oh, and also upcycling. This is an old necklace of mine that I used, you know, years and years ago. That was in my, I have a bag of old jewelry that I've, you know, collected from the kids and me, and I just went through there and I wanted something red, so I was just searching for something red. And I've cut off the ends, leaving those little tassel bits, because I think that they'll be useful for something else. So I'll probably make, you know, the same cut and leave those for some other project. But I really like this piece of cord. I don't have that much red around. So that's what that's for. So I'll just really run through quickly. If you haven't seen the this clay, is Kmart clay. It's called light clay. It comes in 5 different colors in a pack, and it's really easy to move. It doesn't stick to anything. It's in the kids section at Kmart. I'm just a great salesperson for them, aren't I? So cut a piece in half, getting two sizes. So this is just, now I like to work on the board, because you can kind of see. Oh, this is a piece of Perspex. It's just if you haven't got a piece of Perspex, old CD case, absolutely perfect. You can't see quite as well, but it rolls exactly the same. So it's good to just note how big, you know, you want these. Now, of course, I've made these ones already, so I am going to make different ones for some other project along the line. Maybe I might make them just slightly bigger and make sure they're kind of the same size with the graph. Yep, pop in the ends. But I actually want to make them, I think, this way. So we're going to go that way. So that's one, and then that one goes this way. And that's two. Technically they should work out nearly the same when I squish them down. Two. Just going to make a bit of a, so I'm just trying to get them to look sort of similar, you know. And then I'm going to get the Perspex, and I'm going to squash them down like so. I could have squashed them on the paper, actually. Oops. All right, so that's kind of where we're going. Those are these funny little hinges, and I don't really know what I'm using them on or whether I will use them as hinges or whatever. But what I was going to show you was, so if you were using these as hinges for a door, for example, and you wanted them to be sewn on, first I'm going to imprint on either side, top and bottom. Now what I'm working on is just a scrap piece of paper. It doesn't have to be any kind of paper, you know, any special piece of paper or anything. It just is a piece of paper. Now, you can decorate these at any, you know, you can make indentations, make them all, you know, however you want them to look. If you're going to rub ink over the top of them to change the color, or rubbing gold on and you want them to look, you know, old or whatever. Oops. And if it does come apart or change shape, you know, just move it back, because it's only when it's drying that when it's dried it stops, you know, you can't move it anymore. All right, very strange hinges, but this is for the purpose of so if I wanted, if I wanted to have these as sewn on, I would put a hole in. And this is the reason I have a piece of paper behind it, because without the piece of paper, you could leave it a little bit to dry a little bit longer. It's when it's raw, just out of the container, it's actually a little bit sticky, but I haven't got time to do that. And so what I do is I just decide where I want the holes and where I'm going to stitch. I might put one in the middle. This is probably the needle I'm going to be using to make the hole. So you just got to make sure those holes stay open. Check them. Make sure they're perfect and you can see through them all, as so. And then when they're dry, they can be put on a door, coloured, painted, stained, done however you want, or just left black. So that's how I'm doing that. These ones here that I made before are nearly dry, but they're not quite there yet, and so I will come back and I'm going to sew those on just by knotting and just sewing them on. They're only a decorative thing. They're not really actually, you know, holding the door together or anything. So I'll pause. You can pause the video here and do something, or do that, or come back, or whatever. I'll see you soon. All right, so these aren't quite dry yet, so I can't glue and stitch them on, but I have in previous videos showed how I've stitched them on, so I will do that later. Inside, during the process of actually making this, I wrote down the things I noticed about it on the side, and as usual, one of the words in what I wrote down and what I was thinking came up, and the word that I'm taking through to the next month is freedom. And I suppose it came because of the, you know, when I opened up, I have added a little bit in here, but when I opened up, it was those, you know, clouds sort of sensation, that open space within that doorway going through, that opened up. So I've put, as I said before, I really needed some red. I felt it needed a bit of red. I have put a bit of red on the outside around that top area. I am going to have that red dangly thing, tassely thing that I'm going to make or find I feel that needs to be here to open the doors, like little red tassel things that I'll make. The hinges are going to be sewn on with the red thread that I found. And this particular, now this is homemade glassine paper that is made on my YouTube. There's a how to do tutorial on there. It's actually quite a short one. So these are glassine windows that I've made where I've printed on tracing paper, and all of the instructions are actually on one of my YouTubes, so you can just look that up, or I might put a link actually to that if nobody knows how to make their own glassine paper. So it's that lovely translucent looking through, but it's that symbol, the Japanese symbol, which I love. And I just put some red there. So now of course I'm up to my ink, and my ink work is probably the final touch. And I was going to go gold, and then I decided no, that I was going to go the good old black. So I am just going to freehand the ink. Okay, so I'm just going to sew on the hinges, putting my little covered foam over there, and just putting the holes through. Now I've got my threaded needle, and it's got a double knot in it, and I'm just going to go twice up in the center. So I've got a double knot, which you've seen me do before, that knot that where you put it through a couple of times. So the knot being once and then twice, and then slide it down. So I'm just putting knots in as the holding. Now I could have put some glue underneath this actual piece, and I still might after I've added the decorative, because they are decorative really. They're not really doing anything. So the knot is the knot, and then you run the thread through again. So it's a nice strong knot, and it's large and it won't go through the actual the paper. Perfect matching. I might note that I can't believe it all matched in so well, but anyway. So I'll just do this side. So, and then I'm going to knot at the back. So that's pretty much that finished, and I'm going to do the same on the other side with the 3 little knots on the hinge. And yeah, I'll get back after that. Okay, so there she is. She's finished. My beautiful door with her hinges and the freedom inside written, which is going through the door to the following month. This is April, May. So going through to May, and with my freedom, May is going to be an Italian style door. So there are some beautiful Italian doors out there that you can get inspired by. Or you may have one that you just love, that you've seen before. And yeah. So anyway, Italian is the next one. So maybe you can do some research on that, or get some Italian words, or choose the colors you want to be involved with. I find that in my journey through this, the colors kind of come as I'm speaking, so you know, as I'm doing it, but everyone is different. Some people like to plan. All right, you take care of yourselves. I will see you next month. Okay, bye.